No, I get the concept of the match. It's 4-on-4. One guy comes out called, hey guys, it's Connor, OKayFabe. Just give me one quick second. I'm sorry about this. I just got to finish this off. Look, I get the idea of the whole concept. The last time I was in a hardcore war fight, I mean, it was kind of similar. There was weapons, there was chairs, there was trash cans, but the only thing was I was fighting my grandmother. She had a weird way of punishing us as kids. That's all I'm going to say.
Audio Jungle.
Hello everybody, my name is Connor, aka I really don't miss the way that Grandma used to punish me. KayFabe, and welcome back to another fun and fantabulous edition of the TNA Impact Wrestling Review Show here on the OneWrestling.com YouTube channel by yours truly, the official OneWrestling.com TNA Impact Wrestling Reporter. Okay, I don't know why I just made it sound like that, but it sounded fancy, it sounded cool. And speaking of fancy and cool, boy howdy do we have an Impact Wrestling show to talk about with you guys tonight. Oh man. Remember, make sure you let us know what you guys thought of Impact Wrestling, and also follow the entire OneWrestling.com family on the various social media. Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. I think MySpace is still around. Friendster? Maybe AIM, AOL Instant Messenger, that's still around? Okay, wow, cool. Make sure you follow us on social media down in the description box below and hit us on all the links and let us know what you thought of Impact Wrestling, because man, I was a huge fan of this. Not that I'm biased or anything. Now I know that I haven't been doing the OneWrestling.com reviewing for TNA Impact Wrestling for very long, but I gotta say that this has definitely been one of my absolute favorite ones since they made the switch over to Poptv, because this card was stacked, and what better way to kick it off than with the TNA World Heavyweight Champion Matt Hardy, making his declarations known about what happened with Jeff last week and Eric Young. Listen, I'm not stating anything for the record, I'm just saying that, I have no problem with Eric Young or Bram doing to what they did to Jeff Hardy, because Jeff Hardy's injured and Eric Young has the ability to find me here and just gonna cut it off right there. Anyway, they continued to brag about how fantastic everything was going and how Matt kind of, didn't fault with what happened with Jeff until he was interrupted by Kurt Angle. Kurt Angle is scheduled to face Matt Hardy in the main event of tonight's Impact Wrestling on Poptv, but instead was recently informed that not only is that match going to happen, but it would be for the TNA World Heavyweight Championship. And just when we thought there was going to be an ensuing massacre from the 5 men that were in the ring, Abyss, Crazy Steve, Bram, Eric Young, and Matt Hardy, we found out that, hey, beer money and the Wolves came in for the save. Yes, just in time to once again re-announce and reinstate and reaffirm that there will indeed be a 8-man hardcore fight later on tonight. I'm salivating. It's like when you haven't had Chipotle in like 3 days, I need to have, okay, they have good stuff, okay? It's not like I'm a foodie or anything. It's just, who doesn't love Chipotle? In any case, we kick off the Impact Wrestling on Top TV with Bobby Lashley against Aiden O'Shea. Now, I said last week that the more I watch him, the more I like Aiden O'Shea. And boy, howdy, Aiden O'Shea is what I meant to say. And boy, howdy, does this stand true. The only thing is, well, he didn't quite get away with a victory, but we did see Raquel, one of the newest TNA knockouts to the company, basically reaffirming her message that she sent to Bobby Lashley in the past, that I can give you pain, I can give you pleasure, my message stays the same. I feel like, listen, I don't have the greatest luck with women. I'll be the first one to admit that. I feel like that's a trap. I feel like General Akbar from Star Wars is like, it's a trap. I don't know where this is going, but I sense bad things. I just have a history with this thing. It's just going to happen. Listen, the mystery intrigue is there, and I like the fact that they're actually involving Bobby Lashley in a storyline. Not that I don't like his in-ring work, but having him involved in some sort of major storyline that will hopefully continue down the road does have me intrigued, does have me curious. I just wish Aiden O'Shea got the same chance. I mean, not that I stalk him on Twitter or anything, but I'm just trying to be fair here, that's all. Next up, we are joined by the First Lady of Wrestling. No, unfortunately, it's not Miss Elizabeth, it is Maria. Do you believe in miracles? I sure do, especially after Gail Kim got in her face, and man alive, was this awesome. Look, I love Maria. I think she's gorgeous. I think she's talented. I think she's an intellectual genius and a modern-day businesswoman who, listen, Maria, I'm just saying, My application's on Monster. You might want to go check it out. But when her and Gail Kim interacted back and forth like that, almost having like some sort of conflict, it really made me appreciate Maria in TNA that much more. And I'm not discarding anything that she did in Ring of Honor whatsoever. And it's kind of a testament to that as well, too. Let's just say, well, she wasn't fully utilized in, well, I'll say other companies. So it's very refreshing to see her like this. It really, truly brings her talent and her abilities right to the forefront, and I am all for this character change for Maria. So maybe even a Knockouts title shot? Ooh, man, Gail Kim and Maria, I mean, well, there goes my savings account because I'm going to pay everything just to see that match. Or rather, I'd save my money for the match that made my grandmother famous. The 8-man Hardcore War was everything I was hoping it to be. Now, granted, compared to maybe, say, Lethal Lockdowns of the past or any bloody or gory or vicious matches that we've seen from TNA, it may not be on the very top of your list, but this one still proved to me a couple of fantastic things. First and foremost, DK wins the match. They were the ones that were able to come out on top, and true, Bram and Eric Young were associated with them in that match, but DK got the spotlight by pinning Davey Richards. And I'm digging everything about the DK. Abyss, Crazy Steve, and Rosemary, we finally found out her name, are a great team. Again, much like the Aiden O'Shea factor I mentioned earlier, the more I see them, the more I like them. It's a dark, crazy, creepy gimmick that, again, we've seen in wrestling before, but hey, these guys pull it off with a different edge, a different style, and again, it makes them stand out in TNA. I'm all for this. I'm all for it. Just go. Just listen. I love Decay to death, but Rosemary just... There's something about those eyes that just make me feel guilty about everything I've ever done in life, and but in any case, another big reason I really love this match wasn't just the action, but it really brought the tag team division to the forefront. Again, like I mentioned in one of my earlier reviews, you might argue that the TNA tag team division maybe wasn't the most stellar as far as the depth in that division. This matchup proved that it is not the case. Even though Eric Young is the King of the Mountain champion, he still makes a great cohesive tag team with Bram, and it makes sense on some weird, insane level that I completely respect, completely not out of fear or any sort of, concern that he might find my street address, and I don't know what I'm talking about. Point being is that this matchup really brought these four teams to the forefront and showed that the TNA tag team division is definitely something to keep your eyes on for 2016. Even though the Wolves, and again, I love the Wolves to death, but having more depth and diversity in the roster, especially with 4 different style tag teams, really makes me intrigued and curious to see what exactly is going to happen. True, Beer Money has the Feast or Fired briefcase for the TNA tag team titles, but I wouldn't mind seeing the Decay. Hell, I wouldn't even mind seeing Bram or Eric Young winning the tag team titles for a short time, because man, boy, all 8 of these men get my attention for sure. Maybe not the same way as Grandma, because she has her own punishment. Bad memories, block them out. Okay, let's focus. Tyrus and Galloway. Tyrus and Galloway was awesome. Drew Galloway versus Tyrus was actually one of the matches, if not the matchup, that I had my most focus on, that I really wanted to see. Granted, we had an X Division title match and a world title match later down the line, but this one really made me want to stand out. I'm really digging Tyrus lately. Something about him and his presence, and I don't know why it's more lately than it has been in the past, but something about him and this kind of matchup and opportunity to be more, again, at the forefront of things is a welcome fresh change. Remember, he is technically the #1 contender for the World Heavyweight Championship, even though Drew Galloway has the Feast or Fire briefcase. So it's very interesting that he keeps reminding us of that and keeps it in his back pocket just for safekeeping, because, Tyrus doesn't need to hold on. Listen, I just have this really crazy fear that he's going to eat me. But as Drew Galloway was about to get the upper hand on Tyrus, the lights went out, and we saw the miracle. Mike Bennett attacked Drew Galloway, costing the matchup via DQ for Drew Galloway, but Mike Bennett basically more or less reassured that he was coming after Drew Galloway. And man, if I wasn't that much excited left over from the Hardcore War, I was definitely this excited when I saw this. I'm finally getting to see a chance to see Mike Bennett in action in the ring with a potential long-term feud or storyline with an amazing wrestler. I'm salivating because I'm picturing the match in my head between Mike Bennett and Drew Galloway, and I hate saying this, and I've said this before over again, hashtag shut up and take my money. These two are going to kill it when they finally meet in the ring one-on-one. I know that Galloway hasn't really been maybe predominantly featured as much as he should be, but if his match with Kurt Angle that we saw on the retirement tour a couple of weeks ago on Pop is anything like the matches he's going to have with Bennett that I know Bennett can deliver, your TV is going to explode because of how awesome it is. Just wish Tyrus wasn't the victim of that one, but hey, at least he hasn't eaten me yet, so. But speaking of which, X Division Championship time. We originally thought that Shane Helms was actually going to be the one that would face Tigre Uno based off of his cryptic message they sent Tigre last week for the X Division Championship, but lo and behold, the Hurricane has pulled a fast one on us as he brought out Trevor Lee. Now, I've actually seen Trevor Lee on the independent scene here and there. Not to say that I have followed his career, but I've seen some of his work in the ring and in other promotions, and boy, did he not disappoint in this one. Another fantastic X Division Championship matchup between these two, and surprisingly enough, Trevor Lee actually beat Tigre Uno to become the new X Division champion. So, what? Just goes to prove to show you once again that the X Division is not quite as dead as some people may think to believe, but that you never know what might happen in TNA, especially with that unpredictable, crazy X Division. And with Shane Helms, what appears to be like his mentor in his corner, I cannot wait to see what's going to happen here. But speaking of waiting to hear about things happening, we hear from the man, the myth, the legend, the one and only him. No, I'm not talking about Bill Apter in this. I'm not saying he isn't, but just you're really trying to get me in deep trouble with him. First you go to Ray's house and all this, and just, you know what, you just stay right over there. We hear from the former TNA World Heavyweight Champion, EC3 Ethan Carter III, who basically cuts this long storied promo explaining his brilliance, explaining his history, explaining how he was in TNA wrestling and how great he became. The unprecedented, unbreakable, undefeated, unpinned, unsubmitted, two-time TNA World Heavyweight Champion who unfortunately got defeated by Matt Hardy a few weeks ago. But he is not broken. Instead, he is determined more than ever, and starting next week, he is planning on making his revenge known and clear to take back the TNA World Heavyweight Championship. In short, it looks like Ethan Carter III has unofficially become a babyface, which is a very interesting twist. I'm not saying that I'm not opposed to it, it's just that, well, considering that Ethan Carter III has been so strong and prominent on TNA programming as a heel for, well, 2 years, I think is about the time frame he's been in TNA. Feel free to correct me if I'm wrong. It's going to be interesting to see how quickly he can get this new role to him. Switching from heel to babyface might not be as easy as some people think it is. Not that I'm saying I've ever done it personally in my experience. Don't quote me on that. But it's just interesting to see how this character is going to change now that he's gunning for Matt Hardy, who is now the clear heel in TNA wrestling. But speaking of which, Matt Hardy's got a title to defend against one Olympic gold medalist. No, not Grandma. Why do you bring up my grandma so much? It's so weird. Kurt Angle and Matt Hardy had one of the best world title matches I've seen since they again came on Poptv. The only one that comes really second close to this one is again the one they had for the last man standing match between Matt Hardy and Ethan Carter III. My only critique and only slight nerve with this particular matchup is the fact that, well, I kind of was hoping that this would be the last match we'd see on Kurt Angle's retirement tour. It's not has anything to do with the match itself. Really, the matchup was very solid, very good, and once again, despite distractions from Tyrus and Reva Sky, did once again reaffirm that Matt Hardy should be at the top of the mountain as the TNA World Heavyweight Champion. He did pull off the victory against Kurt, which kept his momentum going, and I can kind of understand some way why TNA may have put this in the main event at this time frame. Kurt Angle came in for the save with Jeff Hardy, and kind of trying to keep the ball rolling with Matt as world champion. My only tiny critique with this is that I kind of was hoping that this would be Kurt's last match with TNA. We all know he's on his retirement tour. We all know he's having a certain series of matches with a certain series of people. I just kind of wish that maybe he would save this for the very end of it, end the UK tour with a bang, end his retirement tour with a bang. What better way to go out than fighting the man, the top dog, the TNA World Heavyweight Champion. But we ended with the show with Matt Hardy closing out the show, and again, those luring eyes of Ethan Carter III peering over, well, he's not peering over anything, but I mean, he's just, those eyes, they're just so beautiful. You can just lost it. It's like a sea of blue. What do you mean they're green? All right, I'm not listening to you anymore. Anyway, to close out the show. So it's very interesting to see what's going to happen next week. As TNA Impact Wrestling on Poptv heads over to the UK and shows their first ever show from the UK on the Poptv network, it's going to be very interesting to see what happens given all this craziness and chaos that's happening. The results from the 8-man tag team war, we'll see what happens between Mike Bennett and Drew Galloway, as well as the X Division and World Heavyweight title. And again, I'm very curious to see what's going to happen with the knockouts in the tag team division. It's like that stupid Chipotle reference. And all right, you know what? You go get some Chipotle. At least go get some. You're going to get 2 burritos. No, I don't need 2 burritos. It's going to make me immobile. Just get me 1. Anyway, guys, what do you guys think? Like I said, I personally was a huge fan of this particular TNA Impact Wrestling because of just how well this card was stacked. A little bit of more breathing room, and again, I just wish that Kurt Angle Matt Hardy match was further down towards the retirement tour, but you know what? All things aside, this again was another great, solid show from TNA Impact Wrestling. A different brand of wrestling, different style of wrestling, a different presentation definitely keeps me tuned in to watch, but I want to know what you guys thought, what your favorite match moment was. Let me know down in the comment section below, or again, make sure to follow the entire OneWrestling.com family on various social media. Make sure you go to OneWrestling.com for all the latest in the fun stuff here that we offer, including myself, Big Slam Nation, Bill Schuyler's review of NXT and other various shows, as well as, of course, the legendary, the iconic, the one and only Mr. Bill Apter. Make sure you also follow the entire OneWrestling.com family on social media, including Twitter, myself, at OKayFabe, of course, Big Ray at Big Ray Show, Bill Schuyler at You Got the Show, Fame Black at Fame Black, Billy Ray Valentine at Billy Ray Hustle, the Professor PW Hustle at Professor PW Hustle, 8-Track Brown at Pharaoh Fancy, and make sure you join the Big Slam Nation at Big Slam Nation. It's an original title. I completely understand it. And of course, make sure you follow the guru, the master, the legend, the icon, the one and only Mr. Bill Apter at Apter One Wrestling, and of course, One Wrestling at One Wrestling on Twitter. Thank you guys again for watching. Make sure if you haven't already, I don't know why you haven't, because it's amazing what you get on here. Make sure you hit that subscribe button. Make sure you hit that like button if you guys want to keep seeing what I'm doing on here and keep continuing to support the entire OneWrestling.com family. Thank you guys again for watching. We appreciate all the love and support as always. And of course, as Bill Apter would always say, next time we will see you at the matches. No, the matches. What the patches? No, why would that makes no sense. It's see you at the. Why would I see someone at a patch? Just go get my Chipotle already and just. You can never find good help these days, right?